It's kind of funny, but you can think about data integration a lot like cooking. Seriously, some days you just want a meal delivered right to your door, totally done. Other times, maybe you're feeling a meal kit with all the ingredients prepped. And then there are those days you want to go all out and cook from scratch. Well, it turns out building data pipelines is pretty much the same deal. So I'll ask you this. How do you like to cook your data? Because depending on your skills, the time you've got, and just how custom you need to get, each of these approaches has its perfect time and place. Here's exactly how those cooking methods line up with the world of data. Ordering takeout, that's your no-code AI agent. You just say what you want, and poof, it's there. Using a meal kit is just like a low-code visual canvas. You're assembling pre-built parts. And cooking from scratch? Well, that's pro-code, my friend, using raw ingredients like a Python SDK. Let's break each one of these down. All right, first up, we've got no code. This is your takeout order. It is, without a doubt, the fastest way to get your data dish prepared and on the table, ready for you to dig in. So how does it actually work? Well, you might ask an AI agent something super simple, just in plain English, like filter my customer orders in the last 30 days. You're not writing a lick of code, you're just describing what you need. That simple request then goes to a no-code AI agent. This tool, often powered by a large language model, figures out what you're trying to do and then, boom, automatically builds a data pipeline to do it. So for our example, it reads from Salesforce, filters the data, and loads it right into Snowflake. It doesn't just build it, it can run it for you too. So who's this really for? It's absolutely perfect for business users, analysts, folks on operations teams, really anyone who needs answers fast but doesn't have that deep background in data engineering or complex ETL tools. And right here, we see the classic trade-off. The upsides are huge, it's incredibly fast and super accessible, but that speed comes with a price. You're giving up a lot of customization because you're limited by what the AI can understand. And if something breaks, good luck. Debugging can be a real headache because all the complex bits and pieces are hidden under the hood. But what if you want more control than takeout can offer, right? That brings us to our next method. If no code is your takeout, then low code is your meal kit. You still get the speed and convenience, but now you're much more involved in the process. You've got more creative control. In the data integration world, this is your drag and drop visual canvas. You're not writing code line by line, but you are visually piecing together these building blocks, or nodes, on a screen to design your pipeline. It's way more interactive and, honestly, pretty intuitive. Let's go back to our example. On a visual canvas, you'd start by literally dragging a Salesforce connector out. Then you'd pull in a filter component to apply that 30-day condition. And finally, you connect it all up to a Snowflake target. You're still hands-on, configuring each step, but you're doing it all without writing a single line of actual code. This approach is pretty much ideal for data engineers or anyone who's already familiar with integration tools. It's really for those teams looking for that sweet spot, that perfect balance between the speed of pre-built components and the control to put them together exactly how they want. The biggest strength here is absolutely that balance of speed and control. And because it's visual, these pipelines are often self-documenting, which makes collaboration a breeze. But complex pipelines can turn into these messy, tangled visual webs. And just imagine needing to update something simple, like a password, across 50 different pipelines. That kind of bulk change is so tedious because you have to click into every single one manually. And that tedious problem brings us perfectly to our final approach, ProCode. This is cooking a gourmet meal totally from scratch. You're going to the store, buying the raw ingredients, and you're going to cook exactly what you want with absolutely zero constraints. In the data world, we do this with a Python SDK, or software development kit. It lets you design, build, and manage your data pipelines entirely as code. That exact same Salesforce to Snowflake pipeline can be expressed as a simple, clean Python script. Now this is where ProCode is an absolute game changer. Remember that tedious bulk change? Imagine you need to update a data type across 100 different pipelines. With a low-code canvas, that could be hours of mind-numbing manual clicking. With a Python SDK, you write one script that makes all those changes in seconds. The scalability is just immense. This is clearly the domain of developers and seasoned data engineers. We're talking about people who live and breathe code and want that ultimate freedom to tweak every single detail of their pipelines. The strengths are pretty obvious. You get total flexibility, massive scalability, and it plugs right into modern software practices like versioning and CI/CD, which just automates how your code gets tested and released. The trade-offs? Well, there's a steeper learning curve for sure, there's a lack of visuals for your non-technical teammates, and it's definitely a longer upfront time investment to get started. So after all that, how in the world do you choose? What should be on the menu for your team? Let's bring it all together. If you plot these out on a spectrum, you really see the fundamental trade-off, plain and simple. No code is the absolute easiest to use but gives you the least customization. Pro code gives you maximum scalability, but it requires the most technical chops. And low code? It sits right there in the middle, trying to strike a nice balance. So which one is the best? Well, the honest answer is it totally depends. It depends on the task, on the person doing the task, and on the ultimate goal. There is no single right answer here.
Probably the best way to think about it is like this. Each method is really designed to accelerate a different goal. No code accelerates accessibility. It opens up data to pretty much everyone. Low code accelerates execution. It helps teams build and ship things faster. And pro code accelerates scale, allowing for those massive automated changes we talked about.
The reality is, modern data teams need all three of these in their toolbox. I mean, think about it. At home, you might order takeout one night and cook from scratch the next, right? Data teams need that same flexibility. Having all three options empowers every single user, no matter what their technical skill level is. By embracing all three approaches, you just get faster, more effective data integration for the whole organization. So the final question I'll leave you with is this. What's in your team's data kitchen?